Yerp, it's Perp back with another video, and I just got done checking out the new Xxxtentacion documentary on Hulu called Look at Me. Man, this was an interesting watch. It's very polarizing, very dark, has its lighthearted moments. But before I get into that, you know what I'm saying, I want to let it be known, like, I do like X. I liked X before he passed, you know. A lot of people like to just hop on the bandwagon after a rapper passes away. It just happens, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely was a fan of his music after listening to, like, his first two albums, like, you know, 17 and the question mark one. Like, when I heard Sad, I was like, man, this boy's gonna go places. He's definitely gonna go places. But seeing this documentary and just, I have questions, you know what I'm saying? And I'm curious to see how other X fans feel about this documentary. Did it show him in a good light, or did it do him a disservice? You know, because ever since his death, his label has really been pumping out a lot of X content. You know, these labels like to take advantage of people's deaths, and that's very profitable. That's why you hear certain music on the radio or certain music's being pushed, and they do touch on that in this. And X has always kind of been self-aware about that. Like, he knows the type of music he is putting out there. He knows about, you know, the different vibes of the energies, and, you know, and building up this fan base over just a short amount of time, and kind of getting a lot of his backstory. I kind of wish we got more of his backstory, just his upbringing, and a little bit more about his father. They do dive into a lot of, like, the domestic stuff, which that was really ugly, man. I don't know how to really feel about that, because I wasn't really tapped into all of that, but it's unfortunate. And I know a lot of people will call him a scumbag, or, like, you know, say certain derogatory things, or just throw dirt on his name. Even after he's gone, you know, people will always say nasty things about you regardless. You know, it's a weird world that we live in. But what I like about X, and what the positives I like about this, is just his drive to be innovative. He was definitely an innovative type of artist, just very similar to Kanye. There are a lot of similarities to, like, X or somebody like Kanye and stuff, as far as just even dealing with the mental health things, and him finding out later on in his life that he was diagnosed with bipolar and stuff, and, like, getting into all that stuff is very interesting. The stuff that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, and just kind of was like, I don't know what the purpose was of this. I understand they want to kind of really show you who X was, or Jahseh, you know, who that person was, and how his life was going at these moments, and him dealing with all these different court cases and stuff like that. It's a lot for a person at that age to deal with. And why I relate to X's music so much is because I don't feel like my generation, like, I'm 30 now, I'm about to be 31. It wasn't too long ago I was in high school kind of dealing with the same stuff, like, with friends. Like, everybody has a friend like X, you know, that's just wild and just lives life on the edge, and he's the center of attention type of people, like, you know. And that's why I really liked his music, because it's very different. It has something to it. I don't know how to really put it into words, but he was a really fascinating artist. And seeing just the growth, and just seeing where he started to where he's at, like, what ended up happening to him is unfortunate. And you always look at these situations, and when they get to the end of the documentary where his mother is talking about the moment before he goes to that bike shop, you think it would have changed something if somebody were to just say like, yo, don't go to the shop. You know, it's always crazy, especially when you're talking about death as a whole and just being that young. And it's not a topic that a lot of people talk about. It's not on a lot of people's minds. It's constantly on my mind because that's the one thing that we don't understand or really don't know, because the only people that know are the people that are dead. And it's just this was a very dark documentary, like, and it just makes me question, like, did they really just put this out there for you know, X's legacy, or did they just do it just to make money off of his legacy? That's why when you watch this documentary, you could definitely tell the people that actually cared about X versus the people that, you know, just wanted to be by his side because they just saw dollar signs. You know what I'm saying? I really believe that out of every one of like X's people that he grew up with, all his like label mates and stuff like that, or different artists that he collabed with, Ski Mask is probably the only one that really cared about him. And it's unfortunate, like I said, that it just seems like watching this, he never really had that big homie to really just guide him sooner. Because I felt like this happens to certain artists. Like you could even compare it to Tupac, where he was going down a certain road with his career and he wanted to make a turn, and then unfortunately met his demise. It's just crazy how that kind of lines up, and you got to be careful with energy that you put yourself around. You know, that negative energy could just consume you before it's too late. And it's just, this was really an interesting documentary, a very fascinating documentary. I think X, as short-lived as his career was, I think his name is just definitely going to live on because he has such a strong fan base. And when you get to like that like funeral scene, that's just like really hard to just watch, and to see when that sad video came out and how that was about him killing his old self, putting that to rest, and kind of trying to go a different path, a more positive path, was very surreal. Very surreal when artists can kind of really tap into that. And it's much deeper than that. And it's just crazy how the universe just works. You know what I'm saying? And for people that, I know there's some people that are atheists that don't believe in nothing, but it's just like, it's not a coincidence. That's all I'll say. Overall, I think this was a well put together documentary. I wish there was a little bit more as far as just diving more into his backstory. The stuff with his past and the abuse was just like, it rubbed me the wrong way, because I don't know how I feel about it, like the placement and all of it, and just how fans are gonna receive that. I definitely want to get your thoughts on that. If you're an X fan, how did you feel about this documentary as a whole? I am definitely looking forward to that song he has with Kanye, dropping tomorrow. Other than that, I think there are some things to really like about this documentary. I think it's going to be very mixed with some people. Maybe some people could really embrace it, but also might have a hard time watching it. Yeah, man, it's just unfortunate that I think he would have been making some incredible music in 2022 if he were still to be around. It's unfortunate that, you know, we're seeing so many young artists pass away or something happens to them. They're constantly just getting locked up, and it's crazy, man. It's a crazy time in hip-hop. Like, from 2018 up till now, it's just so many rappers have died, and it's just like, I don't even know if anything will change about that, and it's unfortunate how X went. But man, let me know how you guys feel about this documentary in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.